Everything's going. The time is also going, so that's always a positive.
We're live. Episode 14. We're fucking learning.
We are learning. We're putting things to use, man.
We got time. It's not counting by beats anymore. It's counting by time.
Yeah. That's all it took. All it took was a little flip of a switch.
Flip of the switch.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another District Gooner Pod with your two favorite DC Gooners. It's episode 14. I'm KP. Sitting next to me, back behind the mic, the man himself. Steven, say hi to the listeners.
Howdy. Episode 14. Whew. Who's your favorite 14?
One for the king, right? One for the king.
It's only one answer. One mic.
Actually, I think maybe just given the stuff that we've had at the end of the episode, I'll have a nice little soundbite for folks to go out with. It'll be something from the king. So
all right,
we'll keep
forward to that.
Dude, let's kick off the conversation with sort of what we saw on the pitch. But first, ladies of the Arsenal, have you been following?
I have not. So fill me in.
Honestly, they have a game later today. It's their fourth game. We are recording on a Sunday. So, their game is going to kick off in a little bit here against Bristol City. Bristol City has a women's team. Yeah, very cool.
Interesting.
And this is their fourth game. Right now, their record is 1-1-1. But I'll tell you what, man, they have been scoring some late goals. It's actually been pretty cool. Some of the highlights that have been out there that I've come across against Manchester United, they scored a very late goal to tie the game, and it was a screamer, dude, like 20 odds out. Okay. And against Aston Villa, their latest game, they were losing 1-0, and then in like the 90 plus 2 minute, they tied the game, and then in like the 90 plus 4 minute, they won the game.
Oh wow, they got that DNA. Okay.
So that was their first win of the season. Pretty exciting, and hopefully they get a dub there.
Very cool.
Very cool. You want to take us to the game of the weekend for the men's side?
Game of the weekend. I would have to say it was our game. I did catch that Brighton City game. That was actually a decent game. Kind of had shades of our game, to be honest. 2-0 in the first half. Brighton kind of working to bring it back, got that goal. Couldn't finish the job. City did what they did. They did what they do. But I think our game was probably the high-profile one of the weekend. Do you have another one in mind?
No.
Yeah.
No. Let's jump into our game. Our Arsenal played Chelsea at the Bridge. The lineup came out. This was, the one thing about Saturday, there were a lot of games, though.
Oh, yeah, stacked.
I didn't even realize that there was going to be one after our game. But so the lineup comes out, and it's Raya in goal. It's kind of the same lineup as against Manchester City, except the front three is where we had Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli kind of feeling like for the first time where all three are healthy coming off the international break. And then in the middle, it was Rice, Jorginho, and Odegaard. What were your vibes and thoughts sort of on the lineup? I'll tell you, for me, I was really looking forward to this game just because just before I had seen the inside training that they put out, the social team, and I saw that Benny Blanco had a new haircut coming out, so I was pumped for the game, man.
Yeah, looking spicy. Lineup looked good. Front three, like you said, that's the hype part, I think. It's our true front three from last season. Put in a ton of goals, so that was exciting to see. I think we haven't really seen them all season, all three of those dudes on the pitch at the same time. So that was nice. My only issue with the lineup yesterday was Jorginho. I just didn't see it. I just didn't see why. I just didn't see why he was starting. We have Partey available. Why? If I don't know why we're not starting Rice at the 6, Partey at the 6. We're going with Jorginho. I thought that was interesting. We did talk yesterday, and you brought up the point. Maybe he was rewarding Jorginho for his performance at City. Interesting.
Maybe he was. I saw the lineup. That was the one thing that kind of stood out too, just because deep down I was like, wow, I would love to see a Havertz goal today. That's just one thing I wanted, so I was expecting him to start. But if you are rewarding Jorginho, the thing about the game pre-match is, and I think actually in the very first minute, Peter Drury was on the mic, and he said that it's been pouring on our little island for just like a couple of days. It's been very bad. And that was the part where I was like, wow, it's a rainy day. Is that really a condition that Jorginho thrives under? I'm not so sure. I mean, I get you want to maybe reward him, but it's a fast game when it was wet like that. So
yeah,
that kind of gets away from him. And you could tell throughout the game, I felt like it wasn't his best performance.
I agree. You see the front three strong, our back line strong. I think it's our strongest lineup except Jorginho there. I still don't know what our strongest lineup is yet. We haven't seen it. So, but when Jorginho's there playing the 6, that's not our strongest team. So that was my only disappointment. I didn't really understand why he was there. I think there were some other options, but hey, game started, like you said, kind of a rough start, I'd say. First 20. I think Jorginho, the weather in general, man, it was just kind of messy. You talking about Ben's hair? It was flat down on his head.
It was flat down on his hair, dude. Yeah, no, it was. And, dude, so it was very sloppy. The first 10 minutes were super sloppy. And Chelsea were, in the very first minute, man, they played this ball in the space behind Zinchenko.
Yes.
To Sterling. And immediately, I just thought, oof, it could be a tough day out there on that side.
I think all day we kind of saw that. Zinchenko was not having too much pleasure. They seemed like they were going at him. Sterling was kind of a bright light. Their front line actually had a decent day. Other than Mudryk, honestly, didn't see much from him. He's the only one from Chelsea, I would say, from the front line. He ends up with the goal. We'll get to that. I'm calling cheese, but the other guys, Cole Palmer, Sterling, even Gallagher, I think they actually had a decent game. It worked into their hands. Young, pacey, pressing us hard, sloppy field. We're not getting, our balls, these passes aren't hitting. I think the touch on it wasn't right, because of how sloppy it was. So it kind of played into their hands. And early on, when Palmer got that foul, when he slid into Jesus, got the early yellow, that's I think that was an indication of their game plan. They were coming in hot, very hot.
They were, yeah. It was mostly them, and then honestly, like 11 minutes into the game, they get a PK shot. It's a cross from Sterling, who was just seeing a lot of joy. And look, William Saliba is going for a header. He just gets beat to the ball, right? And his hand is hanging a little bit. It hits him. For me, to be honest with you, though, that's a PK. Like it's one of those situations where I feel like it's. Like, when you see it, and you see that, and you're like, oh, okay, like, that's a PK.
Yeah, in live action, like, when it hit live, I was like, man, that did not look good. Like, they're going to call this back for sure. What I didn't like, and the commentators maybe stick their foot in their mouth, it was Lee Dixon. He said, I'm hearing that they're calling this VAR review because the shot was on target. So that shot, it was not going on target. That header was going wide completely. So don't say things like that. I mean, it's obviously his hand's up. He's trying to head the ball. It goes off his hand. For me, it's a pen. But don't say dumb things.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because that comment from him stood out to me as well, where he said we're hearing from VAR.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they were trying to
interesting. Yeah.
relay that we are hearing their conversation, but also. Yeah, surely it's not because of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're relaying that information, and it's incorrect once again. So where am I supposed to put my trust?
So, yeah, maybe it's better off not to hear it. Yes, or at least relayed from a third party like that. That feels like a bad game of telephone waiting to happen, dude. But so, look, Cole Palmer steps up. They do get the pen. puts it away, rolls it in. I know you like those. But so that was the one thing where I did see the situation, and I was waiting for Cole Palmer to take the PK, and I thought, actually, I've never seen Ramsdale save a PK. I feel like in an Arsenal shirt. So that was a moment where I thought, oh, maybe this is why we brought Raya in. Like, I wasn't even thinking about maybe he's really good at pens. He got rolled on, though, so I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had a different perspective going into it. Kind of had some hope in my heart, but of course he got played on that. Good pen. 1-0 Chelsea. Early on.
And dude, the problem with early on was that like 20 minutes in, I wrote here that Rice is just finally getting on the ball. He's finally starting to get on the ball more. He started to make a few runs deeper and was giving some space to Martinelli. He was making that 8 run, and it was good. But the game, not a lot going on into it that I felt like very good about. In the 30th minute, I wrote down that also Odegaard is just neutralized today, and that didn't feel good either. If Odegaard's not getting on the ball and Rice isn't playing the 6 to like dictate some of the rhythm that he has been, the disconnect between our midfield and our wingers were just getting not a lot of joy. Their backline was really on them tight, so really tough start, man.
Very tough, and I have the same note. I was like, where's Rice? And it's not a lack of him. You see him out there defensively putting in the effort, but offensively, man, it was tough going. Odegaard had a tough game. He had a tough one. Jorginho didn't help, I don't think. The midfield didn't seem like it had any continuity to it. And they were obviously playing us, I think. That was a tactic they had. They played us very tight in the midfield. Commentator made note early, there's no true 9 playing for Chelsea. So they're dropping off. They're playing 2 10s, Palmer and Gallagher. No one's actually playing high 9. So they're trying to condense it as much as they can in our midfield. That's our strong point typically. Having a tough go. On the wing in the first half, Cucurella, Saka, he can't get any space against that guy, grabbing his jersey, kicking him. All those little fouls that are going on, not really getting the calls. He's getting kicked.
Dude, there was one where I think it was like a late whistle, but he took Saka out.
After the whistle,
that was a
correct.
Very dirty. I do not like that guy, man. Yeah,
Cucurella's a dark arts player. Completely, slightest touch against him, he's going down. But he's constantly kind of nicking at Saka all day. First half, we didn't really have any bright spots.
No, and in the first half, we also got humbled by the commentators because in the 35th minute, they said that last season was the first time Arsenal finished above Chelsea since like 2006.
Oof, yeah, heard that.
So I was like, okay, wow, a little humbling, because pretty much I had this feeling that like, wow, actually lately we've kind of dominated Stamford Bridge. I felt like going away at the bridge, I didn't have any sort of fear of the atmosphere, because like the Martinelli sort of late goal a couple seasons back where Conte slips, Saka, he had one of these performances where he had a goal very similar to, actually, maybe we can just go there now to the second half, to the goal that Modric scored. It was against Mendy, right? The little bender. So we got the humbling. We go into the half. You do feel like there has to be some kind of change coming.
Yes. I was
thinking Jorginho get subbed at half. That was my feeling into it. But we see that Zinchenko is actually the one substituted, and Tommy comes on. Yeah,
Tommy came on, immediately made an impact, in my opinion. Really made his presence known. Immediately. Dude,
there was like a Sterling, I think 50-50. He goes right into it.
Which is, I love that. Immediate impact, big body, winning some balls. He actually looks really good playing that role. The inverted fullback, he's looking so much more comfortable receiving balls and playing balls. Going back to our center mids not playing too well in the first half, or just not getting any continuity going. Zinchenko's usually there to help that out.
Yes.
He did not have a good half either, which is obviously why he got subbed. I'm surprised at that you got 4 guys in the midfield, 4 ballers in the midfield. I had a really tough go bringing Tomiyasu and things kind of start changing a little bit. Were we on top balling in the second half? Not necessarily, but things did change a bit. I do like that substitution.
It was a good sub. I'm always excited about Tommy. And also, I guess I didn't realize Zinchenko at the time had gotten a yellow card in the first half. So him being on a yellow, just not a great matchup out there. So it's a good game management. But also, hopefully, I wish he had also taken Jorginho off because he doesn't make another sub until like the 67th minute again, right? So it's just like that's too long for me a little bit with the way that the game was going. But listen, when he's making subs, they are working. But just really quickly, so Mudryk does get this sort of fluke goal. We go down 2-0. Tommy is up for it. The stadium is buzzing. There's a couple of corners where I think Benny Blanco was just being Benny Blanco. I don't know if you saw that or not. The goalkeeper and Cole Palmer. That was a couple of funny situations that I enjoyed. But then in the 57th minute, this guy Raya, your goalkeeper, right? Passes the ball to Cole Palmer, and we could have gone 3-0, game over, right? That's 3-0, that's game over, and he gets away with it. Do you want to comment about that? Like, we brought this player, there's a lot of buzz around sort of the footwork, and you see something like that. What is the upgrade that has been really made in that situation? Maybe we can get into that off the pitch, but I want to hear you about the pass.
No, it's a bad pass. To be fair and to be frank, that is not something we are unfamiliar with. The past, 2-3 years, that is a pass we have seen made quite a few times. And we've also seen the outcome like that, where it doesn't work out for the offense, but on the other side, we've seen it where it gets buried and it hurts us. So, I mean, that's kind of the way I see it. There's a risk-reward factor of the way we play. Everything is getting magnified right now. To say, oh, Raya, he's making this pass. What is he doing? We've seen it before from another goalkeeper that we have, so I don't put too much in it. To make matters worse is the goal from Mudryk. I'd like to hear, what was your take on that? His positioning, do you think that's his fault? Do you think it's just a missed kick that beautifully goes under the crossbar? Because it went right under the crossbar. Like it was close, and it went right under. But do you have feelings about that?
Well, I thought the celebration from the player was kind of funny. Right? He was out here putting on like a cantona of just like, you're welcome. You just witnessed absolute greatness, right? But I just feel like, dude, everyone out here is saying, that you did not mean that, young man. So I don't know. But, so he's unlucky with that. I've seen those go in, right? You've seen those go in. Yeah. It happens. He is very aggressive with his positioning. Yes. On crosses. There's a couple that I've seen in the past also where it does just kind of feel like he cheats a little bit for it, but I don't think there was an instruction that he cheats. So tried to like bend one in on him. There's absolutely no chance. So I'm not going to be too harsh about that. I hear you. I'm more worried about the pass personally. But in the 60th minute, then dude, I just right here like we need a goal, dude. It's 2-0. I'm not seeing a performance, and also Lee Dixon on the commentary was having none of the performance, dude. Bashing the two center backs, just having none of the midfield. And then we see subs. 67th minute finally. Smith Rowe comes on for Jorginho, and Eddie comes on for Jesus. Smith Rowe, big surprise, down 2-0 in the 67th minute, coming on to be a game changer. What did you think about that sub?
Interesting. I had no clue. Did not see that coming at all. You know what? Also, we didn't touch on the lineup. Fabio Vieira didn't even make the lineup. Didn't even make the bench.
Oh, I didn't realize he wasn't on the bench.
He was not on the bench yesterday.
Wow. Something going on there?
Yeah, interesting. We were talking yesterday. We had met up yesterday after my trip. Keon made a very good point. Something about Arteta. He said he gave him the chance against Spurs. Right? That was the game he got that big
chance.
Start.
That was his big start, yes.
Big start. And maybe Arteta wasn't feeling him. You got your chance. And since then, he's kind of been a ghost. We haven't really seen him coming off the bench at all. But Smith Rowe coming on, this is his chance, I guess. Big surprise. I kind of liked it. Like, hey, we're down 2-0. Show me what you got. This is it. Show me what you got. Let's see what you can come up with. Didn't really see much, to be honest. I didn't get a good impression of him. We know who Smith Rowe is. We didn't get to see any of those flashes of a turn breaking through the lines, dribbling. We didn't get to see that. Any of the 1-2s. I didn't see any. But yeah, getting Jorginho off, I think there was big. Jesus also didn't have much pleasure. So good getting him off.
Yeah, and dude, the Smith Rowe substitution was such an interesting decision because he brings him on and he puts him at the 8 role, right? And then takes Rice to be the 6 now. So in a way, I also just feel for Smith Rowe, it's so hard for him to get in rhythm and just get into the squad. And when he does, he's playing a left 8. He's playing number 10. He ends the game playing number 10, right? And then he's sometimes asked to play on the wing too. They are completely different positions. Like some of these, it's not like you're playing right wing and playing right back. So for him to have to mentally adjust to all the situations is also just a really great growth opportunity for him, but also not really helping him to get in any rhythm at this moment in time. So the subs are coming in, but still, dude, 75th minute, I write down here, so that's like 10 minutes after the subs, we're just unable to match their energy today. Because I saw your note, 73rd minute, there's still 0 shots on target from us. Like, it's just not happening. And then suddenly, we are gifted from a goalkeeper, bad pass. In that moment, our players in the pressing is pretty good. We are marked well, but the pass is just a bad pass. But Rice, what a goal, dude. One-time finish into the corner.
Yeah, and I've seen the highlights now. The whip on that thing, man. Woof.
That's all execution, right?
Yeah, no. He has to hit it first time. The guy's scrambling back into the net. Hits that first time, hits that whip. Technique, man. That's technique. That's something not everybody can do. Big goal. Obviously gets the energy back into the game. Absolutely gets the energy back in. That goes in. We've seen this before, right? We've seen this the last couple seasons. We're back in the game. We can do this. So gets that energy back into the team. Gets some more energy into the legs of everybody, I think. And I think there's something in the back of Chelsea's players' minds like, here we go. They probably saw it coming too. So big goal.
Big goal, yeah. After that, it was all Arsenal. Their sort of air got taken out of their little tires. But anyway, so like shortly after that, we're on top. We make a couple of more subs. Havertz comes on for Odegaard. Trossard comes on for Martinelli. Feeling good about the subs, man. Like, even pre-match, I wrote strong bench. I was surprised we didn't see Thomas Partey today.
Yes.
But, hey, strong bench. Havertz and Trossard come on. And 85th minute, there's a nice little ball from Saka, who's having just no joy today, right? But, again, another goal involvement from him. And Trossard puts it in. What a finish, dude.
Beautiful, beautiful finish. I've said this before. That's the type of finish. Who else on the team makes that, right? Who else on our team finishes a ball like that? You know, not gonna put his foot through it. It's all that finesse. That's technique right there. That's beautiful, beautiful finish. But to go back to Saka, he had a tough game. I know he's mentally he got to be mad as hell because Cucurella's all over him, fouling him. He's not getting the calls that he wants. But that's why you leave a player like him on the field, because he has those moments in his locker. Just like that.
Yes.
Flip the switch, hit that ball in, and we've seen balls like that before. I know there's like I remember a Europa League goal, a late winner, kind of the same kind of thing. That far post cross, beautiful, man.
I think Alba scored like that against Manchester City in the FA Cup. I think maybe.
And probably this is that dude. Saka's that dude. But that's why you leave him on the field, even though he's not having his best day.
Yeah,
he can have his best moments still. He has that in his locker. So great ball, great finish.
Great ball, great finish, and dude, like immediately after that, like 30 seconds after that, Benny Blanco plays a long ball. Oof. Eddie is in. It's a tough one. He kind of just takes a swing at it. It just goes wide. But it's one of those where it looked like it was close, man. So could have been 3-2, but not much else happened from then on. There was 90 minute plus 7, but it just ended 2-2. Do you have the man of the match?
My man of the match is Rice from us. Oh, man. Dragged us through the mud, in my opinion. Beginning of the second half, he just really dragged us through the mud. When he came into that 6-2, that's what brought us back into the game. I mean, let alone his goal, but just someone that's working. I think it wasn't our day. It just really wasn't our day. Did not having a great game. Everybody, not a lot of standouts. Tomiyasu, he'd be my co-man of the match or assistant, but Rice, man, big game from him. He's a big match player, playing Chelsea, his old squad. But sometimes you need somebody
he's an academy boy,
through.
right?
Yeah, you need someone to pull you through, and I think he was it today.
Yeah, and he was linked with Chelsea a couple of times, right? And I also think that I can't remember anything special that Caicedo did in the match. So if you are to just literally compare the two, like, number 6 stories of the summer transfer window and say, bargain. Honestly, bargain, dude. No, he's also my man of the match. I thought I was very happy with that. Not the first 20 minutes, but again, that's the type of player that we've missed for a long time. It's like 20 minutes, not happening. All right, I need to get on the ball. Give me the ball. Let me get involved. Oh, let me keep pushing. And second goal, he's the last one to pump up the crowd at the end and walk back to the half to kick off. So he's just a different class of leadership that the squad hasn't had. Yeah, he's the one that's, and Odegaard does this too, I think, at times, but will literally drag the team with him, like just through his own effort, right? He's cleaning up balls, throwing his hands up, give me the ball. He dragged us to that result, in my opinion. He really did. So big ups to him. Big ups to him. Dude, let's maybe take a break and then take things off the pitch with some storylines and some questions and whatnot, yeah? Let's do it. Okay. All right, man. Let's go off the pitch. There's a few storylines, but first, I think maybe let's just reflect on how the game ended, and if you're content with that scoreline and just the result in itself. It's a match against Manchester City. It's now an international break that you come off of, and you're off for 2 weeks. You come off of, and then you get a result away at the Bridge, 2-2. For me, fair enough. I'm pleased. I agree. It's a satisfactory result, especially going down 2-0. Obviously, we showing the heart to come back into the game. But I think it's fair. I think we're last 16 London derbies. Haven't lost. Right? I don't know what our record is. I think it's like 11-5. 11 wins, 5 draws. Hey, that's big. Go to the Bridge. Like you said, we've had a lot of luck recently there. I think we played really well to get the point. I'm cool with it. Yeah, good point. I think it's a good point yesterday. Good point yesterday. There was one moment in the game where maybe we can talk about series where Sanchez, the goalkeeper, just clattered Jesus on the corner. I know that PGMOL has issued apologies in the past for stuff, and there was an Onana one against Wolves that you have written on here. So what do you think about that? I think it's a pen. Really? I do think that's a pen. I don't understand, if you're a keeper, why you're allowed to come out, completely miss a ball, and take somebody out. To me, if you don't make contact with the ball and you completely miss it, you go airmail, why is that not a foul? I know the Onana one, when he took out that dude on Wolves, they didn't call it, but then they issued an apology afterwards, like they do. Should have been a pen. So if you're going to issue an apology for a similar action, why wouldn't you call it? That's my perspective. I don't think you're allowed to come out and clatter somebody and just be like, I'm a goalkeeper. Sorry, that's just how it works.
No, you missed the ball. You misjudged it. You put somebody in danger. That's a foul.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the double-edged sword of all these apologies. Like, stop issuing so many apologies. If you stop issuing so many apologies, then I don't have to be like, well, where's my apology? Right? Like, I don't know, man. I didn't think it was a PK because it's a little different, the situation.
It was. I agree with
but
that.
It's crazy that he gets to get away with that. Because any other play, that's like if you're 50-50 and a center back just jumps and just takes people out, right? It's a lot.
Yeah. I don't think it was as blatant. The Onana one was crazy. I can't believe they didn't get that call. That was blatant as hell. This one, though, I think if they're not going to set the precedent, I guess, any keeper can come out, not win a ball, not come close to it, and take somebody out, and it's not a foul. Maybe I need to put that into my brain now. Keepers can do whatever they want.
Yeah, maybe keepers can, and I think that's a good segue to a storyline that's just never going to die this season. It is not going to die this season. I promise you that, man. Ramsdale, Raya. I guess the fans were chanting they're singing Ramsdale's song at some point during the game. That's a storyline that's been developing. But yeah, look, man, these two, the decision making here, this story is going to keep going on and on and on. It was interesting, though, before the match, they said that Ramsdale wasn't in the squad because him and his wife have just welcomed a newborn into the world. So that's also very cool. Like, congrats, Rams.
Exactly. Congratulations.
So what do you think about the two of them?
Tough, man. It's getting tough. I'd like to get a perspective. So here in the States, I don't have an allegiance to either of them, right? Right? Neither are my countrymen. But when you read comments online, I feel like there's an English allegiance absolutely towards Ramsdale. Do you feel that?
Well, it's also the English media, right? And I think there's been the point that like Brighton rotate their two goalkeepers, but neither of them are British. I think so. Maybe it's just like not talked about. Maybe they are British. I don't think they are. Maybe I'll have to look this up. So I'll look this up in a second.
But Ramsdale's like an England international, potentially one or two, right? Pickford's one, he's two, I believe. Kind of possibly going to take his throne, and now is not playing for Arsenal. So now he's obviously number two, because he's not playing. I think that's interesting when I read comments, though. It really does seem like there's that English bias there, because he is their countryman. I don't know. I just don't know between the two. I will go back to something I said earlier. For me, it's the eye test, and I just feel more comfortable with Raya. I didn't get to watch the City game live because I wasn't here. I did watch it back, but I knew the result, and I saw a lot of the highlights already, so I think that tainted a little bit of my perspective on it. You know, I'm watching it through rose-colored glasses. And I listened back to you and Ron talking about it, and, you know, the Raya performance, the first 20, shaky, back line, shaky. You'd like your keeper to hold it down, but it was a shaky performance. Then this game, he puts that pass directly into a center back, or right into Cole Palmer. Not great. But as I said earlier, I've seen these things from Arsenal keeper in the past 2-3 years, so I don't really know where I stand yet. I really don't. If we think Raya's going to play better balls, I'm with it. But if the fan base isn't going to back him, that's not good. It's not good for us.
It's not good. The fan base issue is big. Well, let me just first say that Jason Steele, the Brighton goalkeeper, is British. But the person he gets rotated with, Bart Verbruggen, is from the Netherlands. Okay. But also Jason Steele, I don't think... Okay, I don't want to like speak out of line here now. But to your point, he's not part of like the England squad, right? So he's not in the talking of Pickford and Pope and Ramsdale. So there's it elevates the situation a little bit, that kind of profile. Also, I mean, dude, the thing about this situation, let me turn on the shorts cam, bro, and let's play a game called Things You Might Not Be Considering, you know, as a fan, I think, especially, right? Because what did we just find out? Ramsdale's wife just had a kid, right? So that's 9 months complete, presumably, right? So you go back the last month of the pregnancy. So the last month of the pregnancy is very stressful, right? So paternity leave, right? You might just not even be thinking about, like, we don't know, but maybe the manager knows, and maybe the manager has known for more than 6 months, right? Presumably for more than 5 months. Like, before the transfer window, the manager maybe had a conversation, like, hey, we are pregnant. Like, maybe at some point in the middle of the season, I might have to, like, you know, prioritize my family, like family over club a little bit, and that's okay with me, right? And so maybe the manager, knowing that, kind of goes and says, okay, I need to elevate my goalkeeper. The first stage of the season is a tough one for Arsenal. We've had a tough schedule. It hasn't been an easy schedule. So I need to elevate that to Raya. And also, I need to play him early on so he becomes accustomed to the team. Because Gabriel had a kid a couple of seasons ago. His performance was bad for like a solid month after that because he's home more. He's being a family man. Yeah. So these are just things that you might not be considering, and that's the game. And I hope after this you think about it a little bit more, about the human side of things and about some of the planning that maybe the manager has to do that we don't even consider.
I think that is a fair point, man. He's going to be out. I mean, I don't know when he's going to be back, of course. Take as much time as you need, right? It's a newborn son. It's his first one. Do what you got to do. I think that's a fair point. Do you have a allegiance toward one of them at this point?
I think after, let's see another run of games right now. It's okay. I fully expect Raya to play in the Champions League game at midweek. And my allegiances, they do lie with Ramsdale. He's my goalkeeper. Okay. Just because under the lights in the big games, I haven't been impressed with sort of the output from the play. I haven't felt an upgrade in the position. There were a couple of instances in the early games where I felt like, okay, some of this long passing is different. Some of the cross catching is different. But also he's helping make Ramsdale a better player. It's not like Ramsdale's just done working hard now, right? He's still pushing to elevate his game. So I think if November, a lot of games, right? December, a lot of games. Come January, if there's been a couple of shaking performances, I would like to see Ramsdale be given a shot, because also at the same time, it's not like he was dropped for anything major. He was just dropped.
No, there wasn't any huge incidents. I think it's just preference at this point. They feel Raya's a better distributor, so they went with him. Save-wise, haven't seen any huge saves from Raya, but I don't think he's really had to make. I guess he's made a few of the big ones he's had to, but nothing too crazy at this point, huh? No. I kind of expect we're gonna see Ramsdale a bit more. I think there's going to continue to be some unrest in the crowd. I just see that happening. There's going to continue to be unrest, which isn't great, maybe possibly forcing somebody's hand.
For sure. And also, look, you bring up the British media, you bring up the British goalkeeper. What's on the other side? A Spanish goalkeeper and a Spanish manager. So, I mean, what's going on here, right? I got eyes, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're all seeing the same information. So do with that as you wish. Hey, one other story off the pitch. Papa Wangs, Le Professeur. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Today, I think recording day today is his birthday. So, very cool. I'm reading his autobiography, actually.
Oh, nice.
We should have a couple of excerpts maybe we'll share with you in future episodes.
I'm sure there's some fire quotes in there.
Yes, dude. It's cool to just get that, like,
you got it like that.
That perspective, and just see how they think and how and what they preach, right, at the end of the day. Some of these folks are they're special. So and then, beyond that, I think you have a point here about maybe some players are now making a push to get into the lineup to start. So maybe you want to touch on that and just like maybe take us into the lineup at the weekend?
Exactly, and I think that's last bullet point here before we get into next week. as far as lineups go, we've seen some performances recently, and I'm looking at Tomiyasu specifically. Do they make the jump into the starting lineup? And then I look at a player like Jorginho, who started 2 games in a row. I see him potentially dropping out. Then it becomes a decision of, do you play Partey, Rice, Odegaard? Do you play Rice, Havertz, Odegaard? We've seen good performances from Havertz as well recently, I think. Maybe more at the 9. I think he's really shown something. But I think we're starting to see different things. I think it's going to scramble up a bit. But I kind of think Tomiyasu is going to be starting left back here in the future.
I think so too. Tommy, as you know, he's one to watch this season, and he has stepped up when he's given a chance, and especially at the weekend. Look, yesterday he came on and he had a message. He had a point to prove. Like, this is a chance for me to get the start midweek. That was how he was playing, and for me, he starts. The only reason he doesn't start is to just be like, wow, you had a terrible game. Go out there and do better this time, right? But I think he starts, and yeah, on the Havertz side, he's so underappreciated. Yeah. He had a good cameo against Chelsea, man. Don't say he didn't. He passes it to Saka for this. It's a hockey assist. If you know, you know. So he plays his game. The layoff to Martinelli at the weekend before, and some of his passing is starting to get there. It gets better. And for me, he plays. I don't want to see this Jorginho Rice experiment. I think at home, when you want to control the game, makes sense to me. And the conditions are just sublime, right? Like, get out there and have a palm day. Yeah, but not when there's a hurricane season, bro. And hurricane season's coming.
Yeah, and I saw this stat from yesterday's game. It said Havertz played 12 minutes, but he won more aerial duels than any Arsenal player. He's 3 for 5. For a game that was messy, muddy, a lot of balls. That last 15 minutes, you see how many balls were in the air? Nobody could settle that thing down, which is kind of how I saw the beginning of the game being too. It's just a messy game. Someone like Havertz, man, that's his thing. He's tall. He's going to win those balls. I think underappreciated. I'm with that. I think I think Rice can just play the 6, though. I just want to see that. I don't want to see Jorginho there. I just want to see Rice there. He's playing it so solid right now. We just need to get another player on. We don't need that presence of Jorginho specifically in these games. I think there are moments when it makes sense for him to play, but man, Rice, just put him on. Just put him on in the 6 and let everybody else ride. We'll play that front 5. You got 5 guys attacking. That's kind of how I see it. I think Havertz should be playing. Shoot, give Smith Rowe a start. I don't really care, but put Rice at the 6.
Put Rice at the 6. Yeah. Hey, so there's 2 games left in the month of October. The first one will be on Tuesday against Sevilla. It's away, Champions League game away at Sevilla, coming off of a loss in the Champions League. By the way, those guys in Lons, I don't know if you saw, dude. They were not joking around, man. And there was a mistake from Raya too. You're so lucky you were out of town for all that, dude. But it's kind of a must win. Or at least a result, get a point, because first of all, this is the thing about a tricky group like this, is you don't realize you're in a scrap until it's too late, bro.
Until it's too late.
So I don't want to get in a scrap. Get that win. Oh, dude, for a second I was like, no way, this whole epi is gonna be no
sirens.
No sirens, man. That's
it.
It
was about to be a brilliant Sunday.
You know what to expect on DGP. But listen, man, yeah. Sevilla away. Must win. It's a long one, too.
We'll have to play some music for this one. Okay.
There she is. All right, man. Well, Yeah, Sevilla away. It's a tough one. I don't know. What do you think the lineup will be? Do you have a prediction for the score? How are you feeling going into it?
I feel good. I mean, I'm looking here at the group. Lons is actually in first, so we've only played two games apiece. They have a win and a draw. Sevilla has 2 draws. So they've played Lons and PSV, draws against both of those teams. I think we get a draw or a win, and that's fine. A draw is fine. That's we said it before. It's probably we thought was going to be our toughest game. Sevilla away. Get some kind of result. Get some points in that game, and we keep riding through. I still think we win the group. I still do.
Yeah, we have to win the group. It has to be a win, and for me, it's a strong lineup. I think it's the same lineup that just played, except the only change is at the 6 for me. It becomes a question of do you reward Tommy at left back? Right, that's one. I would like to see Tommy play personally, but if you're gonna give Zinchenko an eye right, I understand. In the middle, yeah, I'm with you. I think Rice plays 6 and Havertz plays 8 and Odegaard plays the front 3. I want to see the same front 3. Gotcha. Not worried about that. And hopefully halfway through the game, hopefully it's a little bit easier. But Partey plays midweek, but he doesn't start because Rice is the best 6 we have. So I don't know why. I just don't know why.
I think we go strong lineup. The game Saturday, the league game is against Sheffield at home. So if you're gonna choose one of those to where do we put our dogs at? It's the Champions League game. I think it's gonna be a little tougher. I think they go strong, like you just said. I think it's basically the same lineup. I actually do think Tomiyasu plays. I think reward him. I think he gets a start. Center mid is the only change we're gonna see, I believe. I don't think Jorginho plays. I don't think Partey starts though. I think they're trying to save his legs, man. Save him for the second half of the season. So I could see Havertz starting on Wednesday. Or is it Tuesday? On Tuesday.
Yeah, he should start. Yeah, and I hear you in the Sheffield game. Hopefully, look, on paper, at home against Sheffield.
On paper.
You already know that's a 4-0, bro. That is a 4-0. Cool. Well, good to be back, huh?
Good to be back in the States, man. Sorry if I sound a little funky. That jet lag killing me. Got a little sick at the beginning of the week when I got back. But we're happy to be back in the district, man.
Yeah, it's a good day. It's a Sunday afternoon, so maybe we'll be able to actually edit this and get it out here tonight. And just really quickly before we go, let me see how the ladies of the Arsenal tied 1-1 against Bristol City. The thing is, I don't know. It's so hard to watch these games here in the States. That's one thing. Maybe I have to watch it through like the Arsenal like website or something. But it's like so they took the lead, but they've just equalized Bristol City. But Bristol City is 0-3, so hopefully we can come back and get the dub here today. But with that, thanks so much for spending time with us. And hey, if you like the podcast, leave a review or rate the show. And also share it on social. It's the best way for others to find out about us. I'll have this little clip of the King playing for you and then the music to see us out.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
They worked all week at trying to stop you. They couldn't. Great start for you.
Well, like usual, like everyone says, I always scored in small games, so I think today must have been a small game again. That's the way it is, but I can only try to do my best. I tried to do my best today, working hard, learning, helping everyone. Wasn't enough, like I always say, sometimes it's not enough, but, I tried to do my best.
Chelsea were upset with the second goal that Arsenal scored, that free kick. What was Graham Poll saying to you? What did he say to you before you took it?
He said to me, do I want waiting for the whistle in 10 yards? I said to him, no, I don't want it. So he said, you can have a go. So I was just waiting for Good Johnson to move out of the way. That's what I was waiting for, because the ref did allow me to do it, so I did it. I thought it would have been enough, but unfortunately for us, it wasn't. Once again, we took 2 goals on set pieces. As the way it is, we're going to still have to work a lot.